Continue with Kabbalah Shabbat, welcoming the Sabbath. We're on page 24, Lachuna Rabbin. I'm so elevated, behave Ashenish Pati Yapi, Im Yehun, El Menufati. We turn in our prayer books to page 28. Shula. Sorry, excuse me, 26. Shula Adonai Shir Hadash. We sing a new song. Guys, I want to hear you on this. Your part, you repeat after me. Shula Adonai. Shula Adonai. Shir Hadash. You gotta sing after me. Shula Adonai. Shiru Shir Hadash. Shula Adonai. Lines from the bottom. Let the heavens be glad, and the earth and all it contains. Roar in praise. Yismichu Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Let's get those hand claps ready. Here we go. Yiram Kayam. Yiram Kayam. Yiram Kayam. Yiram Kayam. Yiram Kayam. Smith, Hashamayim, Smith, Hashamayim, Hashamayim. We're on page 28 at the bottom, or Zarualat Sadiq. Light is on the places. The joint by the upright heart. Here we go. Or Zarualat. La 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 la. On page 32 at the bottom, Elohim, Yishtacham Lehar Moshe. Romimu Adonai Elohim, Yishtacham Lehar Moshe. Romimu Adonai Elohim, Yishtacham Lehar Moshe. He Kadosh Adonai Elohim. page 36. Mizmor David, Avul Adonai B'neilim, Avul Adonai Kavod Baos, Avul Adonai Kivod Shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai V'Hana Kodesh, Kol Adonai Elohim El Hakavod. Yachir Adonai, Mibarek Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yachonel Ayalot, Vayach Yisod, Uvehekalo Kulu, Kavod. Yeshiv Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Os Legaluitain, Adonai Yivaret Etam. We turn to page 40. Hadodi, welcome the Sabbath bride, Sabbath man. Hadoti, Likandi Kukana, the Revelation must make of the law. The Hadoti, Likandi Kukana, the Revelation, the Shamut Zachor B'Diburecha, Ishiach Echamluchan Adonai Shimorecha, She'emti Be'eret V'niti L'Alecha, Nikrat Nikra, V'Nikrat Nikrat Shabbat, Lechi V'Necha, Ki Mekor Abenacha, so I said, when Shabbat Techini Lechado, Nikal, Nikimanation, Nikabela, Lechalecha, Nikala, Nikimanation, Nikabela, Mikash Melech, Kimeluta, Mitziki, Mitofafecha, Rak, Shepherd, והוא יחפור לו על התנערים מהפרקודים שיפים תפתחים היה ונשאר להבין כאנשים על הלך הדותי לקראת כאן ונתמלא שם ונקבלה לחלק Me beneath Nita Soskatan Benis Meka Binagila Oh, we shall Did you see it? So there is a midrash, a rabbinic saying, a rabbinic story that goes something like this. When the Jews were living under Roman domination about 2,000 years ago, the Roman emperor calls his wise people over and says, "How can I destroy them?" And the wise people, they're really men, by the way, because it was the Roman Empire. What can you do? So they said, if you go to their houses of worship and their schools, and you hear the voices of children, then they cannot be deceived. If the guitars are being dropped, that's a different matter. I didn't know I had sound effects.
Wrong timing, sorry, wrong timing.
You were supposed to drop it 30 seconds from now. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't me. Yeah, it's the cantor. It's the cantor. It's the cantor.
That's two strikes.
So, but if you go to their houses of worship and their schools, and you do not hear the voices of children, then they're all vulnerable. They can be destroyed. And I think of that story quite a lot because it never really hit home until 19 when I found myself in Moscow in the former Soviet Union, and it was Shabbat. And at that time, there was only one functioning synagogue in Moscow. And I and my companion, we were two rabbis who were pretending we weren't rabbis, because that's what you did in those days. And we walked in there, and if you've ever been to Moscow into the main synagogue, you walk in, and then there's a main sanctuary, which is much larger than this court, and it is humongous. And then off to the side on the left, there was a vestibule, which was a coat room evidently at one point. And there was a little minyan going on in there, and there was a big minyan going on in the main sanctuary. So my companion, being who he was, went into the main sanctuary, and I walked into the little minyan, which smelled of fish and other things. And I'm not going to tell you everything that happened there, but the bottom line was when we got back together again after the service, we were walking back to our hotel, followed by the KGB, and we noted that there were no children. There were no voices of children. There were no children at all. And that was arguably the saddest part. So whenever I hear the voices of children in the service, whether they're in the service or out of the service, it always enervates me. I think enervate is a positive, right? Energizes me. So because it means that we are not vulnerable to disarray. We'll continue the service if the guitar is willing.
We're on page 44, the Psalm for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir. The Yom HaShabbat, it starts at Tov, Tov, Tov Lehodot. Tov, Tov, Tov Lehodot. Tov Lehodot Adonai. Ulezamer, Ulezamer, Ulezamer Lishimcha Elyon. Tov, Tov, Tov Lehodot. Tov Adonai. Ulezamer, Ulezamer, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור, עלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Lines from the 4 lines from the bottom. Sadiq Tamar. Sadiq Tamar. כערב בלבנון יזכה שתולי בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריד. Inventum Seva Tisheni Veranani Lehagi Imasharatonai Zuri Velo Avnata Yananai 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 Page 46. Sometimes these progressives, I can't see anything. Adonai malach lavesh lavesh ozi dazar aftikon tevelatimo. Rinkolot mayim mayim rabim. Adirim, adirim, bishmereya. Adi. Yeah. We come to the service, the Mari part of our service. We continue with the Baruch Hu as we rise for our call to worship on page 52. Perfect. So we see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yisbarach ba'ari ba'arabim b'chokmah וב'teo sheb'arim וב'tmunah v'shneitim וב'machaliv ha'chanim v'sederach v'papim וב'mishmartei ha'parakim כרצונו הורג יום ולילה עולם מבחושך וחושך מבהר. ובאוויר יום ומביא לילה באוויר בין יום ולילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני אמרים We printed our forward in our prayer books to page 218. It's the right number, I promise you. Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam. Beit Yisrael. Amcha. Ta. Torah mitzvot. Hukim u'mishpatim. Otanu limadet. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, שובנו ומקומנו, בשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך, לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, לאורך ימינו. ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. עבדך נשמנו לעולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אלוהים מצווך היום על לבביך ושינתם לבדיך ודיברת ושיבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופך ובקומך וקשרתם לאור עייתך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך וישמרך. Continue praying silently, 222 or 223. Page 226. Emet ve'emunah kol zot ukayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein tulato. Anachnu Yisrael abo. Amen. ובהותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל החלו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך האלים אדוני מי כמוך נראה בקודש נורא תהילות Oh, say, Bahudeka, Ubanecha, okay, I'm Likne Moshe, Zeni, Anube, Ameru, Adonai, Vlo, Leolam, Benema, Kivana, Adonai, Yaakov, Uge Alom, Yerchazak, Mimenu, Baruch Adonai, God Israel. Page 228. Ashkibenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Ehamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Ashkibenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Ehamidenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Ushmor Tzeitzenu, Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Lishalom, Ve'amidenu Malkeinu. Rosalenu Sukat Shalom Mecha Baruch Atah Adonai. Apore Sukat Shalom Aleinu Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 230, we rise. Vishamru. Vishamru. B'nai Et Hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Ikada Ikada Shemei Rava Yamadi Rafute Yamning Mavute Yifarach v'yishtabach, yivar v'tshuvah v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalach, shemini kudeshah le'ela, v'kol birchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'ne'emata, v'amiran ve'amah, ve'yimeru. You can continue on page 234 with the silent Amidah. לכל השלום, כי אתה לכל השלום, שלום ישראל, שלום ישראל, Shalom Nasi Leolam Shalom Two 44. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט, וימשפיע מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את המשפיע, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים אשר ברא, אלוהים לעשות, ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי ישראל, אלוהי יעקב, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליוני שמיים וארץ, מגן אבות בדברו, וחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הגדול שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו, ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח לכם, כי בם רצה להניח לכם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, ואין הלכות, אין ההודעות, אדון השלום, מקדש שבת בורק שביעי, ומניח בקדושה, המקדושני יורד, זכר למעשה מורשי. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו נצא מנוחתנו, קדשנו וזכותנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Page 250, 250, Kaddish Shalem. I'm playing the part of the bar mitzvah boy tonight with my cracking voice. So that's allergy season has got me. So yeah, and I drop my guitar. Such a bar mitzvah thing to do. Yes. Kaddish Shalem. Ikara mikara shimei rabba, yamalik rachnute, yamlik malchute, v'chaychon v'yamachon chaydecho ben Yisrael, aglav izman kari v'meru, amen, yehesh me'era me'vora, le'ala v'la me'avaya. Yiparach yishtabach v'bar v'chema v'naseh, v'dina v'na levitala, shemei l'kudisha. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תשליחתה ונחמתה דברה מעולה, ויאמרו אמן. תגבר סודנו ובדור לכל ישראל, קדם המון וישמעיה, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמעיה, וחיים עלינו יבוא ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. Alleluia, for Israel,
So some of you who have gotten to know me a little know that I am a font of useless trivia. So question, according to our tradition, our Jewish tradition, there are 4 New Years in the Hebrew year. What are they? Rosh Hashanah is one. It's the birthday of the world. Tu B'Shvat, right. The New Year for trees. I must admit, I don't know what that means. New Year for trees. Now, there are 2 more. I'm sorry? Very good. Wrong. But really good. Okay. Yes. No, not Matan Torah, which you would think it was, but it's not. Shavuot, no. And by the way, did you give Matan Torah because that's your name? Okay. Okay, the other 2 are, yeah? It's around Pesach, you're right. It's the 1st of Nisan, which used to be, many years ago, the 1st of Datsun. If you're laughing, I know how old you are. Okay, so it's the 1st of Nisan. The 1st of Nisan is the regnal year, Regnal, which is the New Year for Kings. In other words, if a king started on Tu B'Shvat, when he got to the 1st of Nisan, it would be his second year. Now, the last one, for a 2-week stay in Idaho, no expenses paid. We just passed it. It's called the first of Elul, the first day of the month of Elul. Did you say that? Oh, okay, right. So that is the new year for tithing. It's the Hebrew April 15th. Okay, because that's when you had to announce your tithes to the temple in Jerusalem. Now, that's not abnormal to have multiple New Years. We just went through a New Year in the American calendar this week. And every child who started school this week knows exactly what day it was. It was a New Year, wasn't it? Do you like your teachers? Yeah. So I can't say that everyone likes their teachers, but I'm glad you like your teachers. That's good. So we have April 15th. We have July 4th, which is the New Year for the United States. And we also have January 1st. Yes. Are you just stretching? Okay. So that'll teach you to stretch like that. This. So, but one of the reasons that we believe, which means we're not exactly sure, but we believe that the first of Elul is the New Year for tithing and not any other day, is because it occurs exactly 1 month before Rosh Hashanah. And if you're going to take Rosh Hashanah seriously and you're going to have an accounting of your soul, it always helps to have an accounting of your assets and to give to the priests, the Kohanim, what they deserve, which usually was nothing. I hope there are no Kohanim here. One of the big issues in the Mishnah is that there are. Are you a Kohen? Oh, okay. So I can get away with it then. Okay. So one of the things, you take an accounting of your assets, material assets, and then 1 month later you take an accounting of your souls. So you can approach God with somewhat of a clean slate when it comes to that. In addition to which, since giving tithing to the temple in Jerusalem was a way of atonement, it helped for the Day of Atonement. Now, it's not by accident that the first day of Elul occurs roughly 6 weeks before the end of the high holiday season, which occurs on Simchat Torah. Because if any of you who know anything about human behavior, it takes about 6 weeks to create a new habit. It takes about 6 weeks. And so the tradition asks of us at the beginning of Elul, 6 weeks before Simchat Torah, to start thinking about creating habits that are more traditional, more healthy. And when it comes to creating those habits, there is a story that I have told before, and I promise you before I leave in 2055, you will hear this story many times. It's the story of the starfish. Does anyone know the story of the starfish? You're the plant. So I'm glad, so I can tell the story. So there was, at the seashore, there was a tremendous storm, and thousands upon thousands of starfish were thrown onto the shore, and then the tide went out. And what happens to starfish when they are left in the sun? They die. So this older man, and there's a reason that this is an older man, and a man who is older, is walking down the shore to look at all the starfish, and he sees a child taking up one starfish at a time and throwing it back into the water. And he watches the kid do this several times, several more times. And then he turns to the child and he says, "Why are you doing that? There are thousands of starfish. You can't save them. Why are you trying?" And the child takes another starfish and throws it into the water and says, "It made a difference to that one." Now, like any good story, there are multiple levels to it. And as I said, there's a reason that there is an old man versus a young child. And by the way, the gender of the child is not given, and that's important also. The reason is that as we get older, we become more inflexible in our ways, and change becomes much harder. Children are they're made of cartilage. They're much more flexible and they can learn much quicker to do things, much more so than someone who has lived an entire life and has, to a certain extent, become either embittered or is just not able to look at things in a different way. One of the ways we know that we can change our habits is if we do something every single day for 6 weeks. And so what the tradition suggests and asks is that from the first of Elul until the end of Simchat Torah, we throw one starfish back into the ocean. And it doesn't matter what that starfish is, and it doesn't matter what we're doing, as long as we're doing something for Tikkun Olam. It doesn't matter who it's for or how it's done, but it does matter that it is done. And I promise you, if after 6 weeks you have done one act every single day, then if you have not changed, if you have not been willing to change, then we will give you free parking on the high holidays next year. We'll continue with Kiddush.
Five. At this time, we ask, is anyone experiencing a birthday in September? If you are, could you please come up and share Kiddush and most of you?
September birthdays. I'm September 2. Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'yom ratzon hinkinanu zikaron lema'aseh boreshit. Ihu yom tefillah, B'nai Kodesh, Zecher Tziyah Mitzrayim, Kima V'Arta Ne'otanu Kidashta B'Kol V'Sham Shema So in Baruch atah Adonai v'kadosh Page 272. Aleinu nishabeach nadol hakol, ateinu la'leoseh reshit, shelo asimu gigayeh ha'atzot, v'lo shama l'gimish ve'o ha'adama, shelo samkam keinu kahem, ve'goraneinu ve'o ha'adama. ומשתחווים ומוטים לפני מלך בתי המלכים הקדוש ברוך שהוא תשמיים ויוסד הארץ ובראש פיקחו בשמיים ובארץ ושכינת זאת בגויים רומים ובאלוהים וידעת היום והשאלות ולבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, היום אנחנו, היום אנחנו, כי
This week, we remember the yahrzeits of Joan Berman, Stanley Karp, Gertrude Karp, David Casper, Ellen Casper, Sidney Feldman, Laura Feldstein, Betty Fields, Gail Friedman, Gail Greenberg, Molly Cassatt, Harry Kaufman, Barbara Mann, Phyllis Prusik, Anita Reiner, Elaine Rosman, Esther Schneider, Sheldon Wilkes, and Philip Wallitzer. We mourn with the family of the recently departed Paul Lieber. Will all those who wish please recite Mourner's Kaddish with me on page 276. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah v'yomah divrach hirutei v'yomlit malkutei v'chayichon u'vyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba v'barach le'olam lomei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kutsha v'richu Le'ela b'kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, v'amiran le'oma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu el kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Aseh shalom b'mroma, uya aseh shalom, aleinu el kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. We to call on our president, make announcements and remarks.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. I have to lower this. There's no step stool out here for me. I'd like to welcome everyone and wish you really the Shabbat shalom filled with the most love. As the rabbi was speaking, as the character was singing, everyone who knows me knows things are going through my mind, and I'm thinking, oh, I could say that when I was Shabbat shalom, or that reminds me of this. But really, you don't need me to delay your evening any further. What I want to say is anyone who truly knows me knows that door to door is the most important thing to me. It is high on my list of lists, and it warms my heart, as I know it does everyone here, to see from the tiniest little bowhead girl to our playground, to our teens who had a great start to the school year, to everyone here. It's wonderful, from Sivan down to my new friend and everyone in between. And tonight just shows what a community we are and truly what a family we are. So I welcome you. I welcome you to come any Friday night, even when we're inside in the winter. It's always a lot of fun. The cantor's voice doesn't always crack, so he's getting younger, I think. I'm going to read a few announcements. I was going to introduce Rabbi Bear to those who don't know him, but I looked around and I realized you know more people than I do. I've met some of you just this week at the GECC Tears and Tissues, and I have to say it was a thrill to meet you, and you were in much better shape than I was when my kids were downstairs. So bravo to the parents as well. The few announcements I have are you should have received your high holiday packet in the mail. If you have not, please look on the website. There is a very easy link to click, nice bright button, and all of the information is there. The staff is getting the tickets and all of the packets ready to go out, and it helps them if we don't call them the day before so that they can get us our tickets and set up for our holiday. So if we can be considerate of them, it's a big deal. I'd also like to invite you to join me on Thursday. Well, really not me. I'm just there for the breakfast. But Rabbi Bear, as everyone has said, really is a great teacher and makes them think even during sermons. His first Torah study class is on Thursday, and we are kicking it off with a breakfast. So please join us there. Rabbi Bear also has several adult ed classes starting. Please go to the website or see the Garrett after Shabbat, and you will see the different topics, and I hope to see you there as well. I will let you read about B'nai Boomers and sisterhood and the like for yourself because we send out a lot of emails. But I would like to highlight that we are coming up on October 7th. And that is a very moving, heartfelt, and solemn day for all of us that we are still keenly aware our hostages are not home and our family in Israel and the IDF are still fighting on behalf of all of us, the Jewish people. So in order to start that period, we have many programs at that time, but we here at B'nai Tzedek are starting a week early on September 30th at 7:30 p.m. when the vice president, of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, our very own Jonathan Shanza, will be here. Please go to the website or again see your Garrett after Shabbat and register. It is free to come, but we need to know how many chairs to set up because it is going to be a packed room and a very important program. In addition, we are also having a wonderful program to support our fellow Jews in Israel. Rachel Fedorovich, our VP of Community Engagement, who does so many of these programs and spearheads things, found this wonderful program and brought it to us. It's called Wrapping Memory, an art exhibit. The project aims to capture and commemorate the beauty of the Gaza envelope region prior to October 7th. When people call for a ceasefire, remember we had one on October 6th. Jewish Federation of Greater Washington will speak, a representative from Jewish Federation of Greater Washington will speak at the opening reception on Tuesday evening, September 17th, and discuss the artwork brought to us from Israel and from artists in that region. Although she will not be here every day to speak, the art exhibit will be up for 2 weeks. So I really implore you to come and hear her or to stop by at any time during those 2 weeks. And once again, Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue with Adon Olam on page 200. Adon Olam, Hashem Malach, B'Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa, B'Cherso Kol, Azam Melech Shemo Nigah Adon Olam, Ve'yaharei Ki Lo Tzakol, Levado Yipol Nora, Ve'hu Hamiyah, Ve'hu Hamiyah, B'Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa, B'Cherso Kol, Azam Melech Shemo Nigah Olam, Ve'hu Echad, Ve'yeh Sheni, Lehavshilo Lehavpira Adon Olam, Ve'li Reshit, Ve'li Tachlit, Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa, B'Cherso Kol, Azam Shemo Nigah Adon Olam, Ve'hu Ve'ha'go'ali, Ve'tzurchevli Ve'yitzara, Umanisli, Inakosi Ve'yom Mikra Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa, B'Cherso Kol, Azam Shemo Nigah Adon Olam, Ve'ya'adon Apid Ruchi, Ve'yetishan Ve'ya'ira Adon Olam, Ve'yiruchi, Giviyatzi, Ira Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'ek Nasa, B'Cherso Kol, Azam Melech Shemo Nigah.
We're going to do Motzi now, so if you had a birthday, in September or have a birthday in September and would like to come back up and be identified, or if you have not yet become a bar bat mitzvah and would like to share challah with us, please come up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Here we go. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. If you don't know, say hello to the person in front of you or in back of you. Introduce yourself. If you don't know them,